All right. Anthony Edwards signed a massive contract extension. We're all very happy about it. Uh, I think that the Cat hot takes, though, might have been contagious because Cat's been saying some crazy things, and then Anthony Edwards got up there, and this is what he said would make the season a success. Cat wins MVP. Rudy wins Defensive Player of the Year. And this one's harder to measure, but Jaden McDaniels becomes the league's best defender and shoots 40% from three. So maybe that one's possible. But guys, on the crazy scale or most unlikely scale, what do we make of these proclamations from Ant?
Well, first of all, I want to say what's his role in this? Like, what is he gonna win? Like, that's I don't I'm very confused by this because normally they would say like I have to be this, I have to be that. Because I understand being a team player, but I feel like he missed a step in this team. Like team player, yes, but then what's my role in this? Am I going to be the leader? Am I going to be the captain? Or am I just turning this team over? I got 260 million, but I'm turning the team over to Cat to be MVP. So for me, I'm missing something in that. I know he's trying to be a team guy and get the rah camaraderie together. I think defensive player of the year. I think he can have it for Gobert because if he bounces back, knows he has Jaden McDaniels back, knows what kind of defender Jaden McDaniels can be. Rudy can now just block. Cat can stay out of his way because a lot of times they were getting in each other's way. MVP for Cat, I don't see it happening. There's too many other scores in this league, and this has become a scoring type of deal. It's not just an overall award anymore. It's become a flashy scorer type, like Kevin Durant. I don't know if you guys saw that. Kevin Durant got into it with Ryan Davis, the comedian. Don't get into it with a comedian ever. Like he flamed Kevin Durant with his hairline, his lack of waves, his inability to win, his willingness to join another team, and then going to another team as a scorer, still can't win a championship. And honestly, Ryan Davis, as a comedian, it was funny, but he put up a lot of stats about champions. The last, like, whatever number of champions and MVPs up, they were all like on the top defensive, like all team defense list. So if Jaden McDaniels can get on that list, or sorry, not Jaden McDaniels, Jaden McDaniels, if he can get on that list, if Rudy Gobert is on that list, if Anthony Edwards all of a sudden becomes a Michael Jordan type defender, then I can see that. But I think the other stuff he listed is less likely to happen. I think Rudy winning defensive player of the year, that can happen.
Reg, what do you think?
I think it's interesting that you sign a $260 million contract and then you say that somebody else is going to win MVP. I just don't know how that like correlates, but he's a young dude, 21 years old. Like I just kind of attribute this to his youth because he did the interview with Grady and said that he wants to be the best shooting guard of all time. Like he wants to be in the conversation as one of the best players in the NBA. But then you give Cat the MVP. Like I don't know how those two really go together. But I think fans would love to see Rudy Gobert be the defensive player of the year. And also I think the Timberwolves will love that as well, because you know what? I don't think they in their heart of hearts really want to have to do away with Cat and part with him. But if Rudy somehow becomes the defensive player of the year, now all of a sudden maybe there's a little bit more like trade value there for Rudy Gobert. Maybe you can recoup a little bit of what you gave up, because going into the season after this one, when you have a max contract of Cat, Ant, and then you got Rudy, and then you got to pay Jaden McDaniels as well. Like they are not going to be able to keep all those guys with this second apron thing happening with the new CBA. And so somebody's going to have to go. But if we see that happen, that could be awesome. Where I think is interesting too is he thinks that Jaden McDaniels is going to be one of the best defenders in the league, or the best defender in the league. But then Rudy wins Defensive Player of the Year as well. Like those two also don't really correlate. I can see Jaden McDaniels maybe being the most improved player of the year in next season if he's shooting 40% from three. So it's interesting. The whole thing is just very interesting. I think Anna's just trying to say what he thinks he should say, but we saw it in the playoffs when he takes over the team. Like maybe you put him in that MVP conversation and not Cat.
Right.
So I think that all three of those predictions, if those players played to their utmost potential, I think that they could happen. Not all of them together, but I think so. Jaden is already widely considered one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Like that to me is not ridiculous, and it's hard to measure too. So you could give it to him, say he's top 3, top 5, whatever, and he shot 39.8% from 3 last year. That could happen. Rudy Gobert is a 3-time defensive player of the year. Obviously, his potential is being defensive player of the year. That could happen. The Cat MVP thing, obviously the bar to beat is Jokic, right? Because you know that what Jokic is going to give you every single night. Last year, Embiid went out and just shot an absurd volume. He shot 20 times a game, put up 33 points per game, led the league in scoring. If Cat shot 20 times per game, I think he could put up those numbers. He certainly has the rebounding numbers. He certainly has the same assist kind of numbers as Embiid. If he shot a high percentage at 20 shots per game, yeah, he could put up Embiid numbers. And then the key is, are you winning? Because the Sixers were winning. Could the Wolves win with those type of numbers from Cat? I just think that you got to spread the ball around too much to Ant and to, Conley, and McDaniels needs his shots, and Nas. Like, there's just a lot of people that need to get fed on this team. So Cat's not going to win MVP in my mind, but there is maybe a scenario where a couple guys get hurt, Cat has to shoot every night, and he scores 33 a game. That would be the path for that.
So here's where I think too. One quick one before we get out of here. I think what he's saying for Jaden McDaniels, and now I'm kind of understanding. If Jaden McDaniels is one of the top defenders, not best, but maybe top, and I love Reggie's, what did you call it, Reggie? Most improved. Yeah, I like that. So if Jaden McDaniels can guard, and here's the people to guard, because Ant can't always guard Devin Booker. You're going to have to switch off. You're going to have to if he can be in some kind of switch with Jaden McDaniels, where Jaden McDaniels can guard Devin Booker, he can guard Kevin Durant, he can guard Klay Thompson. He can guard Paul George, and so on and so forth down that line. James Harden. If Jaden McDaniels becomes that long type of defender guy, like a Tayshaun Prince. If you think about Tayshaun Prince's role with the Pistons, he gave you offense every once in a while, but he was a lockdown defender when you needed him. When you needed a block shot, when you needed a 3 contested, when you need, if Jaden McDaniels can be that. And because people have been talking about people winning championships. The Pistons, like Ben Wallace is in the Hall of Fame and scored 6 points a game in his career. Like, if you can become some type of create a role, Dennis Rodman in the Hall of Fame. Not saying Jaden McDaniels be a Hall of Famer. Come on now. I'm not preposterous. But if you can create a role like Tayshaun Prince and like these guys, I think that's where Ant's going. So who knows? And maybe this is a challenge. Maybe this whole conversation to Grady was a challenge to his team too. Like, dude, I know we can be good. Let's go do this.